Actually, good evening, everyone. I'm Toastmaster Aditya, your Sergeant at Arms, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 349th meeting of the Amrita Toastmasters Club. Here at Adler, we foster a supportive and encouraging environment where members can hone their communication and leadership skills, paving the way for self-confidence and personal growth. Before we kick off today's meeting, I kindly request everyone to keep your microphones on mute. Trademark. Phones on mute. Unless you're switch off your mobiles or put them on silent mode to minimize distractions and avoid moving around if possible. Please take note of a few important guidelines. Discussions on sex, religion, and politics, as well as any mention of our institution, are strictly prohibited. Let us maintain a professional tone throughout. Please avoid swearing or using any offensive language. For our speakers, a gentle reminder. Please stay mindful of the time limit. Exceeding the allotted time may lead to disqualification. Finally, at the end of the meeting, a link to voting and feedback forms will be shared in the chat. We'd really appreciate if you could take a few moments to pitch along. Without further ado, I now hand over the stage to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Rishit. Thank you.
All right. So we've had some difficulties transitioning from virtual to physically offline, right? So welcome everyone. Welcome back to our first ever offline meeting of the Amrita Business Club of this after all these semesters. Sure, semester. Thank you very much. So yeah, welcome to meeting 349 part B. Lovely to see a very large audience here. So thank you all for joining us on this Friday. And we have a very special meeting where we have icebreakers, which is the very first speech that a Toastmaster makes in the club, right? So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. But let's start by introducing some of the guests who are here. So, yes, if you could just introduce yourself and tell me if you are an extrovert or an introvert. Let's start with it. So, I'm from the idea second year. So, this is my third time taking from the and if you ask me if I'm an extrovert or an introvert, I'm an extrovert in a very unnecessary situation. And I'm an introvert in a very necessary situation. So I think that's a very unfair choice of being an ambivert. With that, very excited. Thank you for joining us. Okay. All right. So first time join this. If you ask me, I'm introvert, but I prefer saying yes, something like that. I think the majority would play it as ambivalence, right? Like we are either extroverted or just right in the middle during some situation. So yes, thank you for joining us. Do you? I see as and to the status, a lot of ambivalence today. Thank you for joining me.
Easy part of career. If you say extrovert and introvert, I'm more inclined to the introvert side. But as you said, extrovert will be people whom I'm very useful.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Teacher from second year, the first one starts Germany.
All right, introvert. Thanks for joining us.
I am right. After the science student, I like it a minute. Depends on situation. Like the situation more prone to not or otherwise it's an intro.
All right, I see a lot of similar tendencies here. Yes.
I present from the very bottom of the year. Give us a basic paper.
All right, couple of introverts, lot more ambiverts. Thanks for joining us. And yes, we shall now officially start with 349 part B. I now pass over control to our general evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Slash.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to college. So in today's lecture, let's speak about Toastmasters and then icebreakers. So in this, we are going to learn about how ice polar caps are going towards global warming. Oh, come on, laugh. So today's an icebreaker session, and my role is to be your general evaluator, and let me explain my role to you. The whole role, sir, I care about the meeting and the meeting alone. So I know everything now. I have, and it's my duty to make an essay. Look at the meeting and ensure the meeting goes smoothly. So before we start, let me introduce my faculty. Timer, Toastmaster Vidya. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Toastmasters Amrita. I'll be your timer today, and I will make sure that within the allotted time given to them, I have these three signals with me that will help you guys finish your speeches on time. So, since it's an icebreaker marathon today, speakers will be speaking from 4 to 6 minutes. I will show the green card at 4 minutes, the yellow card at 5 minutes, and the red card at 6 minutes. Moving on to the individual evaluations, you have 2 to 3 minutes of time. You will be shown the green card at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes. Additionally, you also have a buffer time of 30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds before the green card and 30 seconds after the red card. And if you speak beyond this time limit, you will be disqualified. That is it. That is
So now you know the importance of timing. As this is the icebreaker speech for most of you, please do it time. And let me introduce another type player, our founder, Toastmasters.
Hello everyone, hope you had a really nice semester. So, my talk outlook for today. I know all of you are going to give wonderful speeches, but sometimes our brain might not be in sync with what we have to say. So, we might use filler words. So, my job is to keep track of all the filler words we might use, such as are, so's, buts, and you might repeat a few phrases. And at the end of the meeting, I'll provide a report on all the words we have used, whether you want to clear it. Thank you.
Really all the best, because this is the most satisfying job that Toastmaster can ever do. You know, this you just look at someone and this time he gives you 8 hours and next time you give him 10 hours. So like let me introduce another and a very special guy, the grammarian, Toastmaster Abhinav.
Welcome back, people. What a great start. It's my first time and absolutely late by 3 months. And I would like to explain my rules. Prior to that, I would like to explain that great grammar are signs of maturity and bad grammar is just a word in the fool's dictionary, to be honest. And I would like to say myself, Abhinav, and I will be your grammarian for the meeting. And well, my job is simple. Just say that I am your language cop, basically. I'll catch you whenever you make an error. And I'll also appreciate when you say something right about the language, right in the language. And to improve your vocabulary, we have something called as the word of the day. And the word of the day, when being used in your speeches in the meeting, is very much appreciated. And the word of the day is rambunctious, and it means someone or something that's pretty hard to deal with. And the example sentence is on the first day of my meeting, I was tasked with an rambunctious task. Thank you.
So let's get started with an icebreaker marathon. So our first speaker will be Toastmaster 3, and before Toastmaster 3 speaks, I would like to call upon her individual evaluator, Toastmaster Sharp. Since all the teachers are giving the same project, that is their icebreaker speech, we will only be giving one explanation of the project. That is fine. All right. So you don't have to listen to the same thing first. It's been a while. Okay. Level 1 project. Now, Toastmasters offers a bunch of different paths. These are essentially guides. What sort of a speaker you want to become, right? We have pathways such as presentation mastery, leadership development, dynamic leadership. And these are all sort of goals you aim in your life. This pathway helps you achieve those goals. All right. Now, the first level is always same for regardless of any pathway. Regardless of whichever pathway, you know when you're finished. You've been messing with it for a while. Regardless of whichever pathway you pick. So, all of them, regardless of their pathway, will be giving their icebreaker speech, level 1, project 1, as we refer to it in Toastmaster Dubs. It is a general speech just aimed at breaking the ice, as it suggests. Just giving a general introduction for themselves to the club as a whole, just so that we can get to know them better. That's basically it. To the speakers, all the very best. Toastmaster Rishi is where is it? Toastmaster Rishi, Toastmaster Aditya. All the very best. Don't stress it too much. It's just a speech. You are talking about yourself. This is the only speech where you are not supposed to mess up because you are talking about yourself. All right. Who does basically?
Before I call upon Toastmaster Shriya, she has a very interesting title. Marching to me, Toastmaster Shriya, marching to me.
How often do we get to meet the Prime Minister? How often do we get to stand at Rajpath, not just as a tourister, but as a representative of a nation's entire national youth? I have, not just with pride, but with trembling legs, a racing heart, and a medal around my neck that whispered, "We did it." Good evening. I am Toastmaster Shriya Sujit. But today, I will not just be talking to you as Toastmaster Shriya Sujit, rather as Flight Cadet Shriya Sujit. Yes, you all guessed that right. I was in the National Cadet Corps, NCC, when I was in my grade 8. So let me take you all 7 years ago from now. I was looking around the grounds of my school, and that's when I heard hoots of people marching. When I looked around to see, actually, something that was running in my mind was, oh, look at that. The uniforms are so cool. But spoiler alert, it really wasn't that big. The first time I went into the rifle club, there they awarded me with a uniform, with a badge. But it was not just one set of uniform, it was a lot. We had gloves, we had a baton stick to carry, we had belts, we had a beret and whatnot. But it just did not stop me. In fact, today, as I'm not just breaking my ice, but my limits, so I'm here in front of you to share with you all about my NCC journey. I joined NCC in a motive of my seniors' RDC parade felicitation. You know what happened that day? She wore a blue sari with a blue blazer that was very captivating. The first thing that came into my mind when I saw her was cool. But then there was another word that she said. She got an award from the Prime Minister. I was excited about it too. I wanted to do it too. The next day, I visited the ANO at the school and I asked him, can I join NCC? The first thing he said was, it is pretty impossible for girls. I thought, let's try it. Why not? And the next day, he said, go for 50 laps around the ground. And that's when I rethought about the decision. But I still, at least, managed to make up 16 rounds. But that was my first step. Moving on they told me that I will be having 10 camps, each with 10 days. It was pretty difficult for me as I was not a person who was away from home. I am a homely girl. I always stay at home with my mom, with my dad, especially I'm very much connected with my mom. So it was very difficult for me personally to stay away from her. But I thought, let's do it. And the next day, I visited a camp in Coimbatore. It was not really easy. The bathrooms were filthy. It was scary because in there lived my biggest fear, a lizard. I have never passed in a toilet that had a lizard. And I was pretty scared about the first step that I was going to take. And after a not very bad shower, I came out and then again rethought about the decision. But then my master, he kept on motivating me, telling that one day your goal will be shaking hands with the prime minister. I kept on going with that same thought in my mind. The first thing they gave me was a rifle that weighed 3 kilos. It might sound a bit easy, but carrying 3 kilos here on your shoulder was not very easy, at least for me, because I was half the kilo as I am now at that time. And when they asked me to take the rifle and hit the target sheet, it straight out went to the wall. As you all guessed it, right? I was kicked out from the rifle. But then the next day, I came up with the same confidence because, as I said, I'm just not here to break the ice. I'm also here to break the limits. I took the rifle. It went straight, not the center, but somewhere inside the target sheet. That is a win-win now. So I thought, why not continue this? I tried continuing. I tried doing my level best, and I got selected in each and every camp. At the final camp, that is my 10th camp, I was set to go to Delhi. There in Delhi, I competed for best cadet. And guess what? The people who were against me were three guys. So it was a straight out competition between me and three other guys. Oh, also, one of the guys had blue eyes and he was very scary. He was from West Bengal. I will never forget what he said. He said, try it, chalo. And I don't know what he said in Hindi, but that was very scary. Scary than the rifle's weight. And then I went on. I went on giving my extempore. I went on giving my group discussion. I went on doing right. And Delhi is not very easy. It is very cold, and our camps was right in January. January is really hard to survive in Delhi. And when I took the rifle, it was all misty. It was all cloudy, and all that I could see was a misted target sheet. But guess what? Out of 120, I got 116 points. This means that I'm actually close to getting the award from the Prime Minister. So let me conclude by saying that the day when I shake my hands with the Prime Minister, receiving a patent representing Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Andaman and Nicobar Island, what I really felt inside my mind was some goals are really worth that it is okay to even fail. Thank you. Back to the country.
That was a wonderful and powerful speech those markers get. And I can understand what you went through in your camp because I was a cadet too. So when they gave me the rifle, I was pointing at the bricks where the whole target sheet was there. And I failed, Mr. Kaur. Really great that you did it. And for the next speech, the math, Toastmaster issue. So let me tell you something about this guy. He's called the timer of Amrita Toastmasters. Whenever I joined the meeting, I was a very eager guy. He was the timer. So before I talk about Toastmaster Rishi, let me call upon Toastmaster Namita, his individual event.
So she is individually evaluated today. Just because I came late, I couldn't get the opportunity to start the meeting today. And sad. Hope, what was I saying? Okay. Hope the other essay did it well. Now, just like Toastmaster Short said, the icebreaker is gonna be the first speech that a Toastmaster is gonna give officially in the club after joining. I don't want to explain more about the speech. I just wish Toastmaster Rishi all the best. Do your best and just be yourself on stage. That's all. Over to you, gentlemen.
So let me welcome Toastmaster Rishi, chasing versions of me. Chasing versions of me, Toastmaster.
How many of you people think about your younger self and say, who was that? Was that me? Or maybe just somebody that I used to know? Well, I do that always. Greetings to all and guests. I am Rishi and I will introduce myself to all you people. So, who was that wonderful person that I was talking about? He was hardworking, diligent, extroverted, asked questions, friendly with people, basically the kind of kid that my parents were proud of. I used to enroll in competitions. With them, I was basically a Midas in academics, basically. And and I was also very friendly with people. I was the sort of guy who could be friends with literally anybody and everybody. But then, as time went on, I became the guy who sat on the last bench. Instead of raising hands, I started raising questions in my head, which I never asked out loud. I became the sort of guy who just wanted the day to end. So, how did I come out this way? But the right question to ask is, how did I come out that way when I was younger? The reason was my hometown. I was brought up in a place called Tiruvallur. And whenever somebody asks me, where are you from? I just say Chennai because my place is very close to Chennai and I don't want to go to the trouble of explaining that. And then people start asking me questions like, what are some of the hangout spots in Chennai? Where is small? Have you been to this place? Where to go to this place? And I don't know. Please just ask Google Maps at the city of Goa. And so what is there in my place? None of those fancy hangout spots, none of those malls, none of those amusement parks, just temples. Lots of it, in fact. There's one for Will, there's one for Health, there's one for Good Luck. Just waiting for the temple DLC expansion pack here. And as a young me was never interested, not like me, always never interested in religion, temples, or gods. My father wanted me to get into it. So he used to take me to various temples, explain his architecture and everything. Look, it is so difficult. It's one stone, they crafted everything onto it without any of those modern technology. And I was very fun. It was very amazing for me. I used to ask him questions like, who built this? And he said, it's the job of an engineer. So basically, what I thought were engineers were people who assembled on one random fine day and started building things. So planning for everything. So I definitely not want to be an engineer. Spoiler alert, I started to be one. And then, so since my place are nothing but temples, I wanted to entertain myself. So I used to go on, be friends with a lot of people, used to play with them. And once it gets dark, I used to come back to my home, study, difficult in those good ways with us. But as time went on, phones are internet came into our lives. Rather than going out and being friendly with people and talking with people, I just sat all day scrolling to YouTube and Reddit and I was over. The necessity for me to communicate with different people in my different states of life was not as much as it was in my younger self. And I would just want to ask you guys this question. How many of you can spend an entire day just in your room, hold on, or interact with somebody? That is my perfect dream day. I just want to stay without that anybody, that would be my dream. And finally, I just want to say this. I may be the guy that will stop speaking out his thought and just talk to people that we spoke to in. I may have become the guy who just sits in the back of the class, nobody knows who I am, nor do I know all the people in my class nowadays. But I still want to be the guy who speaks to everybody, who can think about their thoughts and think them out loud to everybody, like I was when I was younger. That is the version of me that I'm chasing, and I said in this speech, right? So I would just want to conclude by saying, I'm standing here in those masters because that is one step that I want to take to be socializing with everyone and becoming an extrovert. So that's the time.
That was really awesome. And really staying in a room, not interacting with anyone, it's a dream job. It was, and I followed it all these days, and now you can see me struggling to speak. So, let me introduce another icebreaker, another speaker for today. And he is Toastmaster Aditya. And before I call upon Toastmaster Aditya, let me call the Toastmaster Shobana to see Vijaya.
So, good evening, folks. How are your vacations? Good. Like for you guys? Good. So now I'm here as taking my first role as evaluator, the English evaluator for Toastmaster Aditya. I don't even know its pathway to have done before, I guess. So all I want to say is, it's your first icebreaker speech, first speech in Toastmasters. Enjoy because the upcoming speeches will have more preparation than this one. Very all the best. You can rock it. Aditya, over to you. I mean, we didn't balance your
Notice the way he said the next speeches are going to be more preparatory. Let me speak something about Toastmaster Aditya. I met him in Kashyapa Bhavanam class. He was a very sweet guy. That was the first thing I thought about him. And even his speech, I want that to be the strangest speech that I've ever heard in my whole life. So his speech title is Icebreaker. Toastmaster Aditya, Icebreaker, Toastmaster Aditya.
Before I start, Toastmaster Madhu and Amrita, Toastmaster Madhu, you are not the right? Picture this. You are on the deck of a ship. The icy waters to the far north. You look above you, you see the dark, far north sky. This characteristic since the Arctic usually has 6 days, 6 months of sunlight and 6 months of darkness. It is formed by the myriad of constellations you see above, and also named and mysterious Aurora Borealis. You see your ship drifting towards paradise. Oh no, you wonder, is it going to sink? Right? No. The ship glides to the ice like a knife cutting through hot butter. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I, Toastmaster Aditya, will be giving my icebreaker speech. So, for my icebreaker speech, I chose the topic ice. And very creative. Icebreakers, as we know, are ships which have one purpose, like to make ice. Like all things in life, they come in a lot of shapes and sizes. If you want to get hold of the best icebreakers, do visit Madagaskar because they have 7 nuclear powered icebreakers. Yes, nuclear power. They are the only country with nuclear powered icebreakers. I call Russia the masters of the north, not only because of their huge behemoth of 7 nuclear icebreakers, but they also have 60 other icebreakers, more than all the other all the other countries put together. There are also other types of icebreakers, like oblique icebreakers. These are much smaller, but can carve parts from much larger ships. Usually, you imagine of an icebreaker going straight and other ships following through. This is a much smaller ship. Imagine Tokyo drifting through ice. You go sideways, you sideways thrusters and breaks the ice. That's how oblique icebreakers go. Most icebreakers use diesel electric engines for normal cruise, and they use gas turbines when they need to break through ice. As far as the shape of the bow goes, they use a spoon-shaped bow, which means they can glide over the ice, where after which the gravity does rest of the boat by breaking through the ice. When I started out giving my icebreaker project, my mentor told me that the icebreaker project is going to be about yourself. As we all know, he did not know that Toastmaster Aditya was going to give Toastmaster Aditya existential crisis. Because I realized I have a big problem. talking about myself. I know, sounds interesting, right? It is supposed to be the easiest speech. The problem is, when you talk yourself, you use a certain class of words to describe yourself. These are called adjectives, and I don't like them. Yeah, they're the worst kind of words you can ever come across. They're the most depraved bunch of words you can come across in the English language, and you should never use. Now that my disdain for adjectives has been firmly established, let's move on to something I'm more comfortable talking about. We come to adjectives maybe later. I'll talk about my hobbies instead. Can anyone guess my favorite hobby? Random facts? Random facts? Yeah. How would I come about random facts? Anyone? Show hands? It's one of the most commonly cited hobbies. YouTube shorts. Hobby.
Guys, come on, guys.
Okay, what? Yeah, when I was 4 years old, you would most likely most likely place I would be found was in a corner sitting crouched with a book. Nowadays, we have this habit of walking with books like this all the time, as if they are a part extension of your own body. I used to do the same with books instead. I used to be the type whose mother would drag by the corner and say, "Go out to play." Whenever my parents would go shopping, it's a very boring experience. First, you will have to wait for them to pick clothes. They will manage to pick 3 out of 30 clothes. Ask you to pick one cloth. Not go ahead and not mine. Buy them other two. So after being fed up with this experience, I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going on my own. I used to visit a store called Landmark, which sold toys, but most importantly, it also sold books. And I used to go to that corner to find that all the bibliophiles of the town had descended. The staff then were kind enough to put cushion stools for us to sit and read. So we would spend like an hour or two there before our parents came. But a few years later, that they unfortunately removed the stools. Right now, bibliophiles don't give up. We sat on AC cold floors and still read the books. And then when our parents would return, we would beg them to buy one, just one book. Now I'm going to talk about my other hobby, which is stargazing. I didn't know I had a hobby because this hobby existed for me. I discovered this very late when I came to Amrita. Since childhood, I was interested in astronomy. But the problem living in a city is due to light pollution, you cannot see a lot of stars. That's not the case here. I got to saw constellations I thought I would never saw or I would see much later in life, but I got to see them. So that was a very fun experience. Moving on to my another hobby, which is also lately discovered. Okay. Yes, I'm definitely the type of person who knows how to make toast, who knows how to make Maggi, and most importantly, call myself a chef after all that. My cooking skills improved during the coronavirus lockdown. Before that, they used to be non-existent. Now I'm slowly improving upon that. I used to think that the pinnacle of cooking, especially Indian people, is making a crispy dosa. Is making a crispy dosa. That is. Until I found out it wasn't that much of rocket science. You just pour oil, you just pour batter, stir it out, and pour out as much oil as possible. Enough so that the US consider it's a good idea to do it. Okay, I think now we can talk about adjectives again. Maybe. I firmly believe that adjectives are something you should choose very wisely and carefully. Even positive objectives, because holding on to them, you will cage yourself and your personality instead of letting it develop. People say that you change your core beliefs every 5 minutes. In other words, you change your identity. Adjectives are not weird words. They express your identity. They are your self-image of yours. Choosing the right or wrong adjective can either make or break you. On that note, I would like to end my speech. Thank you and back to the presentation.
So this is the Toastmasters Icebreakers Marathon for you. We started with Prime Minister and receiving medals from Prime Ministers. Then we went to temples, and now we entered taking agendas. This is these are the first speeches given by our Toastmasters. Give a big round of applause. And all the best, three of you, for your future welfare, for your future speeches. And now I would like to call upon Toastmaster Harshita for a very interesting table topic.
Hi. I'm not supposed to be here. This is not to be a agenda. But yeah, so table topics is since we don't have topic, it's deeper because the secretary said it was. So essentially what happens is I call you up here and you talk. And you talk on it for 20 minutes. And then you get it, go back. So before we start with this, I'm gonna call up student to do an example. Back. Just so you know, I didn't mix. Someone has to be like, if your life was a book, what would be the name of the next chapter?
Every time I get a DG topic, I'm not sure if I should roast myself because I know someone will do it for me. But it is courtesy to just roast myself. It is a very easy thing to do. So, if my life had a next chapter, what would it be? I have absolutely no idea. I think that should just be the title. Because that the title of my autobiography, Coffee Lover, Assured Coffee Lover. See, life is very, very stupid. Okay. There is absolutely no point in living. That is what I'm going to say. Because you may wake up at 5:30 in the morning, you may wake up at 7, you may wake up at 12, 1 p.m., which I have, and you will still go back to sleep. It's just a never ending circle. So I have absolutely no idea. It's just the perfect title for my next chapter. Because I wake up in the morning, I don't know if I should continue to, get ready for classes, if I should attend classes, if I should come back from classes, or just sit there and use the Wi-Fi. I don't know if I should eat lunch. I don't know if I should try to rip off my IPP of his money. I don't know what to do, right? That is a very good thing to have in life because the best game you can have in life is nothing. You can go with the flow. That is the very best thing you can do. Because life is like a river, right? There are going to be a lot of ripples, there are going to be a lot of bends, and whatever you do, you'll anyway get to the end point of the river if it has one. So, yes, I have absolutely no idea what would be the very best title of the next chapter in my life. Okay?
And just so you know, I will grab books. Does do any of the guests wanna try? Okay, so the most ridiculous resolution you made and did you keep it? Hello everyone. So I'm Minoti. So the most ridiculous resolution I've ever made. I think it's a very common one. Making a pun. I've never kept to it. And there's also one more thing. Going to gym this year. I've never followed that either.
Oh,
So my mom usually says that you wake up early, you succeed in life, you do better things, blah blah blah. But I'm mostly a night owl. I would ask my mom, Mommy, I sleep at 3 a.m. How would you expect me to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym? It's near me first. And my mom says it's all the phone. But maybe it is the damn phone. We don't know. So with that, I don't really think I have the resolution anymore. I basically embrace the fact that I can never wake up early. I don't even make it to the mess on time to the breakfast. At this point I don't even know why I'm paying the rest fee. So yeah, with that, thank you. Okay. Next.
If procrastination had a resolution, what would it be?
Procrastination matters. So what would it be? Okay. I think everybody has had resolutions, and you make a resolution going to the gym twice a week and you don't keep it. So what would be procrastination's resolution? That would be making us not do it, obviously, right? So yeah, I think procrastination will come to me and say, hey, I'm not going to let you win this year. I'm not going to help you create habits this year. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to kill you. So let's see if you can manage me. So I think everybody deals with procrastination a lot, but it's up to us. We can either say, okay, man, you can kill me, I don't care. Or you can just say, okay, we'll see. Yeah, that is all from the side.
There.
What is
It must go fun. Try. You want to go next?
What's
What does the idea of second chances mean to you?
A second chance is a very interesting thing because it often means you miss your first love, means you mess up your first love. It means you can never get it back. There are things in life that are permanent. We learn history, and every year that we spend on earth, our history books will just keep growing bigger, and our generations will play this now. 10 years later, they learn about COVID and make our forefathers went through this. And it's an object of permanence. And we all have that in our lives. We have permanence in our lives. Moments and decisions we've made that can never change. Hello, fellow Amritians, you come here. You can't change that now. You can try, but these years that you spent here are done. Every moment you choose to do something makes it absolute. That is a choice, and that is your chance. Now you have a few options here. You can either forego all future chances by thinking of the chances you missed, every chance you messed up, every point in life where you went, if only I had been a little more courageous, if only I had taken that step. I don't think anyone's ever said if I studied 2 more days, I would have been JEE, AR, one or anything. But if only I had taken care of life would have been. Unfortunately, you will. You don't know that if you decide to drive earlier, you would have gotten in an accident. You don't know if you had decided to take a walk that day, you would have run into someone who would have hit you in the head. There is no way to know where your choices lead, and yet you must say. So, what are second chances there? When everything seems so absolute and rigid and you cannot change it, what are second chances? This is not given to you by life. Life doesn't give you second chances. Life gives you choices and opportunities. Second chances are something you create yourself to redo. A moment in time where you decide to forgive the first actress and decide it doesn't matter as long as I can finish. That's what a second chance. That I think they've done.
We have one last topic. Who would like to do the honors? Come on.
Fine, actually.
Come on.
Can I sit down and give my topic? Please, I want to.
Describe the time when you invented yours. Describe the time when you reinvented yourself, how it changed your life.
Hi. As you know, or you may not actually, a lot of new faces here. I was once the president. So. I don't look like it. As the question asked, did you reinvent yourself? What is the question? How did reinventing myself help? For starters, people thought I was crazy. I'm pretty sure the first time some of you saw, I'm pretty sure some of you are seeing me for the first time. So I'm not crazy. I can't promise you that. But yeah, I am reasonably soon. Reinventing myself, it gave me a lot of insight into what sort of a person. Wasn't a very good person. I think the lights I was. I was the best person. Reinventing myself sort of gave me a third person look at myself, where I was able to reflect on a lot of my choices. I don't regret any of them. I'm not the sort of person who regrets life choices like decisions. I make them, I stick by them. But there are better choices I could have made. That's something I can always say. So, what was the. Did you reinvent yourself? Because I keep thinking it was something else. Did I reinvent myself? Yes. I think even it might be still a work in progress. I cannot tell you if I reinvented myself that incredibly narcissistic of me, that incredibly self-absorbed of me. That is also to say the old me would have probably given you an answer of that because of how narcissistic it is. But I'm a great guy.
That was a wonderful tabletop session. It was fun to have you. And guests and Toastmasters, we really enjoyed your speeches and they were deeply philosophical and fun at the same. So before I call upon my tag team, let me call upon Toastmaster Sean again. Individual evaluate Toastmaster. It's here. All the nights needed work for you guys to satisfy my ego. Timer is ready. You want to just so smarter. Yeah. Sorry. I just got outside. Those ones, yeah. Marching through. When I first saw the title, I was kind of confused. Marching through is kind of weird. What's happening? But very apt title. A lot of marching was there involved. I'm sure the National Cadet Corps. Yes, pretty sure they appreciated your service a lot. Good job. So the standard way an evaluation goes, I'm explaining this case you haven't had evaluation before. Standard way an evaluation goes, they tell you points you've done good, points you could improve upon, and sort of round off the entire thing. So I'm going to start with the points you've done good. First off, incredible voice. Your voice was just able to snap everyone's attention just caught. So much so the timer forgot to hold it. So extremely good voice. Everyone pretty sure even in back it was very loud, very clear. Sure. Okay, there is one. Yes. Your speech was very well phrased. It was very well written. Not a grammarian, so I can't tell you exactly where, when, but it was a very well written speech. It had a very good flow to it. And that was basically it for the good things. The bad things. Bad points to improve upon. So actually, you could have had a lot more pauses. The thing is, the reason why we have pauses is to add gravitas, to add a sort of suspense to the sentence. When you say parts like, or have you met the Prime Minister, etc., that whole introduction, and then you say, I have, you pause for a second, you let that sink into people's heads. Let them sort of understand it, ruminate over it, marinate over it. It gives you that much more of a punch to your sentence, right? And throughout your introduction, a lot of
you could have had a lot more pauses. And is that the second time you're holding it? Yes. Okay. So you can have a lot more pauses. Sort of somewhere, ideally when you're writing your speech, you just have like, okay, I'm gonna pause. Keep on moving up. Frequent head movement. Moved your head a lot. It was kind of distracting. It's not bad. Head movement is always appreciated, not just that stone back of it. More body movement, that is gestures, things like that. It sort of felt like you were forcing your hands to stay stuck to your sides. Feel free to move it around how much ever you want. Stage movement, it's a common issue. We all face it. I face it a lot. Stage movement, Toastmasters recommends that you walk in a V. That is, you stay within the same 3 points, move forward like this, or you can move a turn. The stage will give you that power. Please do not pace along the stage like this. Do not turn your body away from the audience. Try to keep it close. Finally, very good conclusion. Usually, they don't really expect people to give you takeaways and conclusions in introductory speeches. This was an introduction. More for people to know about it. You had one. Very good. Very excellent. Good job. All the rest.
Thank you, Toastmasters, Sean, for emphasizing on clap. I actually put 3 exclamatory marks in my report. People don't forget to clap. And now I would like to call upon you to evaluate from Toastmaster Namita.
Hey all, I'm back. Now with the report of how Toastmaster Roshni's speech was. First of all, congratulations on successfully completing your L1P1 icebreaker session on cricket. Very sorry, I'm still not aware of which one you have chosen. Unlike Shobna, who got to know at least half an hour back. So, congratulations, next ma'am. Okay, chasing my dreams. The one point that hooked me in the whole of the speech, being an engineer, is I thought engineers were people who randomly gathered abruptly at a place on a random day. Wow. I know I have doubts about that. I have suspicions about it. What are we doing here? Are we meant to go there, build temples out of single rock? Maybe let's find out after 2 years for me or 3 years for you. Let's see. You started with a quotation. That was a good start. And the way you explained about you and your colleagues, the creative way of explaining how you were to the audience, it actually kept the audience hooked. Everyone paid attention to your speech. You started with, and there was a question in between the speech, which was sort of again taking the audience attention when they were like a bit distracted from yourself, and you had good eye contact. Now, these are the good elements that I found in your speech. Moving on to the elements where you can be a bit, you can have a bit of input. I found that you were fiddling on the stage a lot. You were like, I could hear the sound going. So instead of doing that, if you would just go a bit here, move a bit this side, you can actually, I think it was because of nervousness. Yeah. So if you move around the stage a bit, it can help you decrease the nervousness and the pace. I shouldn't be the person saying this because I don't know what the pace I'm talking at right now. But the pace of your speech was a bit too high. We couldn't decipher or we couldn't just ingest what you were saying. Just give the audience a bit of time to just understand the sentence you just said. So then you were rooted to a spot, just like I said. And you could have a bit of voice modulation, like a bit ups when you want. When you said about the temple, if you had a sort of an exclamatory tone, it would have been better. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. It should have been better to your speech, and a better conclusion. I felt like the end was a bit abrupt. I didn't expect it to end all of a sudden. You could have covered up the whole speech in the last sentence or para or something. Overall, as an icebreaker, it was a good speech. Congratulations, and did I cover everything? Yes, I did. Last but not least, again, congratulations to Swati Rishi on successfully completing your icebreaker. Over to you, Shantia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amrita. Now let me call upon Toastmaster Shobana, General Evaluator of Toastmaster Aditi. Individual evaluator of Toastmaster.
Hello everyone, I'm Roshni. I will introduce myself again. Then, first thing, congratulations to Toastmaster Aditya, and we will give a round of applause for him. Little please, not gonna lie. And first thing I want to say is, like you, I love stargazing a lot. I am the person who goes to the terrace around 10 or 11 just to sit in calmness, there's nobody around, see the stars and moon all night, not stargaze. I hope I found someone like that as well. So, for initially, your speech started with the explanation of icebreakers, basically. So you talked about how different icebreakers, how different types of icebreakers are there, and it's your first speech. And I thought you'd be starting up with my hobbies or whatever, so you spoke later in the initial phases, but then you start with icebreakers, drives people attention for it. Why is he talking about icebreakers? I'm talking about so, but then you moved about yourself. It's a good point, good way to start maybe. And you had a good clarity on your speech, where it was crisp and clear, and you had good pronunciation. But then, one thing I would like to say is, I could see the nervousness in you, like you were like doing this constantly towards the end of the speech. And that maybe is because like nervousness, as I said, it's your first speech here in front of these people after 2 months of being at home, like not talking to much enough people. But then it is totally acceptable. Even I do the same. But then, so and you are comfortable with in talking here in front of people in your first icebreaker speech, but you used frequent head movements. You, as Sean told, you should not show this or this to people. It's always like this. Like I don't want to repeat Sean's speech over again, so I guess. But then, okay, your speech was very interesting, had many facts, and I can see that you are really interested in gaining more random facts from books or from different sources, YouTube shots, maybe. So good. And pacing is one thing that I have to tell you. You were good. You were good at pacing. Your pacing was fine for me. But then you can reduce it slightly, especially towards the end of your speech. And you were audible. Aditya was audible. He was audible. You were audible throughout. And then eye contact. Yes. Eye contact, you maintain your eye contact towards this side. Towards this row a lot rather than this side. So I would like you to ask on next speeches. What happened? To maintain your eye contacts throughout the hall. So now that's it about my evaluation. So congratulations on completing your icebreakers. Did I forget anything? All right. Okay. Thank you.
So now let me call upon the time. Time Toastmaster Veda.
Alright, today's types was football. We started with the icebreaker marathon. Firstly, we had Toastmaster Shreya. She spoke for 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Toastmaster Rishi spoke for 3 minutes for 57 seconds. Toastmaster Aditya spoke for 8 minutes and 3 seconds. And then for the tabletop session, Toastmaster Ishita spoke for 1 minute and 32 seconds. Guest Minoti spoke for 56 seconds. Guest Advait spoke for 1 minute and 2 seconds. Toastmaster Aditya spoke for 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Toastmaster Sean spoke for 1 minute and 42 seconds. And the individual evaluators, Toastmaster Sean spoke for 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Toastmaster Namita spoke for 3 minutes and 2 seconds. And Toastmaster Chopra spoke for 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Thank you.
Call upon the most interesting role of the day. The arm counter.
That's interesting.
Toastmaster one. Clap.
So everyone, back with my report. and I had a lot of fun after 2 months of not doing anything. So let's start with Toastmasters. 15 hours, 7 arms, 1 L, 1 so 1 line, 2 butts, and you repeat it regardless of your pathway like 3 times. Okay. Toastmasters 3 hours, 5 hours, 2 arms, 1 L, 1 line. Toastmaster Amrita 9 hours, 4 arms, 1 so and just was repeated 5 times. Toastmaster Shobana 8 hours, 5 arms, 1 bell, 2 so, 2 like, 1 but, good and this were repeated frequently. Toastmaster Rishi 6 hours, 3 arms, 1 bell, 1 like. Toastmaster Aditya 51 hours. You did keep your problem like this. 4 arms. 2 S, 3 source, and 1 line. And sorry was repeated quite a few times. Toastmaster Sudams, 3 hours, 1 1 so. Toastmaster Ishita, 1 hour. Yes, Minoti, 4 hours, 1 3 source, and 1 but. Yes, Advait, 5 hours, 1 2 source, and 1 but. Toastmaster Aditya with the pink shirt, I think. 1 hour, 1 ounce, and 1 soap. That's all for my report. Back.
Now let me follow up on your very into the day. Toastmaster.
Back to being nervous, my legs are shaking. Well, I don't know if I am bad with my job, but I did not really find those were mistakes. But I really found like great sentences. Not just breaking my ice, but also here to break the limits. That was good. And instead of raising hands, I raised questions. That was good. And I found a common mistake amongst everybody. That was that like we are using regular words very commonly, like very like repeatedly, to be honest. Like the word very. As of now, even I am using the word very commonly. Yeah. That's all I was. That's
Now for the general translation report, the meeting started at 4:52 p.m., 2 minutes late. That's okay. But the essay was a little late there. And out of the two intrusions that happened into the room after the meeting had started, one of them was not in a very good time. I don't really recommend that happening. And class. That is a very important part of Toastmasters class. And we had to force that class upon. So please do keep in mind that claps are necessary for a speaker to feel motivated and continue. And timing explanation before the table topic session has not happened because many of the guests are not so familiar with the timing. So we should have explained how timing works in table topics. And please, there was one usage of unparliamentary words, not so unparliamentary, but there was one. Please do avoid that. And tabletop in the table topic session, guests could have been called up first. There are some other guests. And in the end, the guests, I would like to inform you this. You have seen many speakers were this is their first time and they have prepared a lot, they have come up here, and this is the environment that we provide to them. So the environment that they prove themselves in. This is Toastmasters. Thank you. Back to the student.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for ending in such a wonderful note. All right, people, we've reached the end of meeting 349 part B. The Southern have sent a form in the group right now. So to all the guests, a form will be passed around and you will have to vote. Just take a minute and vote for your favorite icebreaker speech, for your favorite role player, for your favorite table topic speaker. And yes, so one major announcement while you're all voting. This is meeting 349 part 3. You add one to the next is meeting 350, which is milestone meeting. I want to a letter. I'm just talking about the number. Don't mathematically get into this straight. All right, 350, 349 plus what? 350. Yeah, yes. Milestone meeting. So in Toastmasters, you add 25 meetings, and towards the end of every 25th meeting, it is a milestone meeting. It's basically a celebration of how far we've been through the term, all the things we've done, we've achieved, and next Friday, most possibly, I think next Friday will be our milestone meeting. So just a very unofficial invite to you all to know. So yes, to join. Sorry.
Is the meeting now?
27th Friday, most definitely. We're still working on it, but yes, milestone meeting next week. Please do join us. And on that note, if any of the Toastmasters in this club would like to become roles for the milestone meeting, please do approach our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Alex, sitting at the very back, so that you can reserve your roles. All right. And yes, with that, we will be shortly announcing the results. Have all the guests voted? Has a vote passed around? No, sorry. Well, we are waiting on it. Let's get feedback from the guests. I'm in eye contact with you. Let's get feedback from you.
Very supportive and welcoming environment. I was actually very nervous to go on the stage to talk. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. It's very big crowd and all of that, but like who was safe for everyone. It's very nice.
Thank you, guests. Anyone else? Abhay is not making eye contact with me. You're going to give feedback.
Yeah. Let's say very fun. We announced us. First time I came here to get it on my stage. Now I'm staying for the stories that people provide. It's very beautiful and chaotic to be honest. So,
Can we get that frame for the story? You know what? Let's hear from the timer. Let's play the version. Please do elaborate. So, forget aggression. The stories that we had got here today, I forgot the time about like 5 times today. So yeah, good. That's
What is the time?
that must be my report.
So I think we have agreed for the second. You know, it's the second last meeting. Yeah, what fault? Speaker's fault. This is your fault, by the way. You captivated us so much you forgot to switch on the glass. Timer, future timers, please note. You may or may not forget to start someone. Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Veena. Alright. Two more. Two. Did I believe one. I believe it's short. It's not voted. We voted. Okay. Please do watch it. Alright, and John, did you vote? I did.
Then who the others?
Some magic. We'll figure it out, don't worry. Now that's me to say. So I cannot keep getting questions wrong. Yes. I had something else to say, but I forgot, so I'll ask that. Wish you all about it.
Can we have feedback?
Mentor feedback provided quickly. See guys, one more thing we have had short on time. So the essay will kick you out in like a minute. So no, that's 10 minutes. It's fine. And yes, next week milestone meeting. All the guests, I expect you there. It's a milestone meeting. I will prefer if you all came in uniform / commons. So preferably do take up role to attend the meeting because it's going to be the very last meeting this term of the Amrita Toastmasters Club. The new ExCom is going to be rolling in July. So yes, do keep attending, do keep talking, etc. etc. Namita So alright, get some friends. Alright, this is going to be a rapid fire round. Best favorite topic speaker, Toastmaster Aditya. Okay, quick shirt and alright, so best icebreaker, that's best speaker, Toastmaster Shreya. Best individual evaluator, Toastmaster Sean, without check. Best board player, general evaluator, Toastmaster Prat. When was the remote player? We are counted. With that, we have come to the end of meeting 349 part. We officially adjourned. Everyone, quickly on stage for a group photo. Quickly, quickly. Tripod, short, put it under the bench.